TBTL.
Hey there, welcome to another edition of Hey Dummies. This is the TBTL newsletter where we, the dummies, answer your questions. Today coming to you from the flip side, on the far outskirts of Kalama, Washington. There's the train going behind us. This appears to be a little restaurant that's sort of tucked in a like a grain silo processing thing, and then some kind of a log cabin building facility, and I sort of love it. This week's question comes from Monica, who's in Connecticut, and Monica says that she has recently checked back in on the show. She started listening again and was pleasantly surprised that we're still doing the program, to which I would say, Monica, O ye of little faith. And then Monica also was wondering about some things she may have missed. I don't know if this is as loud on the video as it is here in real life, but I apologize for us being on an active runway here. Monica was wondering about Andrew's travels through life, how he ended up going from Ohio to New Hampshire and things like that. And at the very end of the email, Monica throws in, also, Luke, you could answer the same question. So I will. I'm going to tell you how Andrew got from Ohio to New Hampshire. It's a little thing called the love bug. I do believe that Andrew, when he was going to Kent State University and then graduating, had an offer for a job. I mean, what a time to be alive, by the way. This young man, still wet behind the ears, is coming right out of Kent State, and he's got not one, but two public radio job offers. The first one at the public radio station in Michigan at Interlochen, which, if I have my story straight, if he hadn't agreed to take the job, he had gone very far down the road with this particular job at Interlochen. And then had met Genevieve, the love of his life, and was spending more time in the Northeast. And I believe that Genevieve, I love that I'm not only telling Andrew's story, probably incorrectly, but Genevieve's, I believe Genevieve may have ended up at Dartmouth, which is famously not in Michigan, it's in Ohio. It's in New Hampshire. And I'm still recovering. Today on the show, I couldn't remember Fred Armisen, and I honestly am shook for life. I believe Genevieve had gotten a job at Dartmouth, and so Andrew's, interest then turned more to that part of the world, New Hampshire, and he was offered a job, I believe, at New Hampshire Public Radio, and he went on out there. And then after living in New Hampshire for a good amount of time and buying a house and making a whole life there, they migrated west, I believe, because Genevieve, again, I'm telling Genevieve's story here, got a job at a firm in the greater Seattle area. Andrew came out, he worked in public radio for a little bit, and then he came on over to Cairo Radio, where we met and became immediate fast friends, who did not speak for, I want to say, a few months after our first meeting. That's how I knew this was special, because we met, and then I completely forgot that we had met for a period of many months. But then we did finally reunite, and a love affair and a lifetime of podcasting was born. So that is how Andrew ended up going from Ohio to New Hampshire to Seattle, and then a quick pit stop in Los Angeles, which we all knew was a terrible, terrible mistake, except for the fact that I encouraged him to do it, and I thought it was going to be a great adventure. And then Andrew and Genevieve came back up to Seattle, where they now are, and where we have been doing TBTL remotely, me down here in the grain elevator district, and Andrew from Seattle for now the last few years. So Monica, I hope that answers your question. Maybe Andrew can talk about how I went from Seattle to Los Angeles to New York to Miami to DC to back to LA to Port Townsend to Bellingham to Kalama. Andrew, tag, you're it. Thank you for subscribing to the newsletter. If you have questions, we can always use more questions, please. Send them in to andrew@tbtl.net, put Hey Dummies in the subject line. Looks like the pizza is here, so we gotta go. All right, thanks everybody.